Hello everybody. So in this video, we want to refactor our application to be a little more streamlined. Right now we have the application where we was the last time. It's already running in my local host. It's still doing everything that it's supposed to, right? And we're able to implement everything in less than 100 lines of code. But it's still, we're trying to see this, it's going to we have some repetitions there. So for example, the list is pretty much the same, right? The layout of the list. And probably we can actually make that outside and then repeat the list itself. I don't know. What else we can do? Actually, this is should be the list from here all the way to this probably. So we can refactor that to be simpler. And in order to have only one, and then some props to change the color probably. And we can extract all the JavaScript in his own JavaScript file. So we have a better understanding and better way to do it. Maybe. So let's actually start. So what we're going to do, let's start with the setup first. Let's create inside of source directory something called composable. Or let's actually simplify the name helpers. Functions. There's a low way to we can call it. Let's call composable. And oops, this actually should be a folder. Yeah, so let me delete it. I'm sorry for that. And let's create again the file. So composables. And let's create a file called use to dos. And this is pretty much the way that we should be doing. This is a traditional JavaScript file. And we can actually export all the logic from here because it's going to be repeated in several places. So let's pretty much take everything that we have here and let's paste it right here. Actually, the need to do, we doesn't need to have it here. That one can stay. Okay. So we have the to-dos as a layout, and then we'll create a wrap-up function. Let's call this cons use to-dos. Pretty much the way we call it. And to that function, let's ignore everything that is there for now. Inside that function, we're going to pretty much put all these different functions there. There you go. And we do export. Export default use to dos. So we have that function, but that function will need to return something. And we return the to-dos pending completed a to-do a change status, pretty much. Right? And this is a function that we're going to import it. We're keeping the scope of the to-dos outside, so it's going to be repeatable across the board. If we put the to-dos inside the function, that means it will have its own scope and it can be repeated. But when we have it outside, it's like a global scope. So that's why we keep it that one up there. And I believe the only things that we can actually do here, that to do, we actually do need to send a new to do in there. And we don't need to have a value anymore. We just trim it. And that's it. And we don't need to make this anymore. Right? Because there's logic that should be there. So we just set a new to do, and that will pretty much push it. And this we need to remove the value to. Cool. Done equal false, and yeah, I believe that's pretty much what it is. If we save everything now, everything went to broke. Yeah, nothing works, right? So what we need to do is we need to import. Um, let's make this from composables use to dos, and we need to import the to dos, right? We need to import the pending, the completed, the add to do, and the what is the other one? Change status, right? Actually, we don't need to import to dos. We are not using it. Just the pending and the completed, and we can keep the other one there. We try to import. It's still broken, and it's broken because let's check the code over here. Let's try to run it. It's not complaining, but if we try to run it, we'll say that something is broken. It doesn't provide a export name add to do. Hmm. Didn't like it the way that we created the composable. Probably this code here is returning it. Probably let's change the approach. Export cost used to this. Right? Maybe. So we're exporting that one, and that one is returning a bunch as well. So probably need to change this to use to do's. Maybe. Let me see what I need to do with doing here. Give me a second. So yeah, it should be something like, sorry, it's actually a little bit late when I recorded this. So let's make this a traditional cost just to do. Let's export by default. You know, you know, and here we just import the used to do from used to do, and then we just create const equal from used to do, right? And from used to do, we need to import the pending, the completed, the add, and the change status. Mhm. Oh, the reference is not important. We need to import reference from view. There you go. And the only things I need to change that we actually did is here in the input. So when it change, we add to do, and we need to send or new to do. That's it. So we do A. It should work. It's not doing it. Why is it not doing it? Oh, because we are actually sending the whole element. There you go. A, B, C. There you go. It's working as supposed to, but it's not deleting this. So we can actually do a new function here. Let's call this cons add equal, and we can have that. Yeah, pretty much what we need. So now we can actually change this just to add, and we'll call the add to do where it's supposed to be. Cool. Refresh just in case, and then get deleted. Perfect. So we're able to export and minimize a little bit. It's a little bit, just a little bit more readable, but we have like around 80, and we have 64 lines here. So this is working somehow or not. So let's create another one, and let's export actually, let's do a simple one. Let's make this his own component. So let's create inside the component directory, let's call this one title.view. I will do script setup, and after that I will do the template, and in the template I will pretty much import this, and we can keep it like that if we want. That means that we go to the application view, we just need to import title from components title. We can change this just to be our title. There you go. So make it a lot smaller, and it has working with it. So we remove all that extra stuff. The input, actually, we can do the same with the input. Let's make another composable. Let's put on the title. Let's make this part of the title. So let's get the input from here. Let's get it out from here. There you go. Let's put it inside here. Everything is broken. We just need to have the add and the need to do. So let's get those. So we need to import the reference, right? Because reference we will make what they need to do. And this one. So we need to import those here, right? After we import those two, that means that we can delete this file from here, this line, and this line. The add function is used there, so we can remove it and put it over here. But this one is actually using the add to do function. And the add to do is coming from import use to do's from composable use to do's. There you go. And we need to see the path, right? Because we need to one step back in order to enter to the composable folders. And we just do a cons add to do equal use to do. We just need to get that one from them. That means that here, we don't need to get this one anymore. We save it, and we try to use it again. It's still working. So we just export the title, functionality, and functions, let's say like that, and get into there. And our main application view just get smaller to 44 lines. Cool. What else we can do? All this, probably we can get it out. So let's try to get out this. And let's create another component. Let's call this list. It's a simple list. And let's put this inside the template. And we need to figure out what we need to import from here. So let's do the script setup. And for making this to work, we just need to import the list. Okay. And change status. Pretty much. So let's do import use to dos from composables. And we're reusing code now. And we just get in cons. And we just need pending. And what else? And change status equal use to dos. Perfect. Yeah, this is working. We didn't send the completed list yet, and that's on purpose. I want to show you something. So we pretty much we just get the pending list is the one that is saving here, and we're going to convert that to be dynamic in order to accommodate both scenarios, the pending one and the completed one. So let's go back to the app, right? And right here we can just we just need to import it first, and we need to import the list, right? And before this one, we just need to call it. We get something, get to the list, and still get to the completed. So my functionality is there. So the refactoring is working. So what we can do now, what we can do, let's make this list twice. Right, so this one over here, let's delete that and import the list again. Right? So it looks like we just have the pending list twice, and we're importing that, and you see that it's actually reflecting doing what it's supposed to, right? But we need to accommodate and make the second one to be the completed. So for that, I don't think we need to have to use this anymore. Not here. Right? And let's go to the list. So let's actually get the completed from here. If I change this completed, we just have the completed items there or the pending one. Okay. How we can accommodate that? So let's create, or let's use another thing from view, and that's actually the props, and the props are the ones who are going to help us. So to here, I'm going to do the define props, and we have two. No, let's actually have one. Let's call this type. I don't know if we can use type here or not. Let's call this list type. By default is pending. And let's make this to be this. And let's do type string. There you go. Right? And we can do now here, we're going to send that list type. Let's send it over here. There you go. Okay. That means that in my application view, this one I can put list type equal pending in theory. Um, list type equal completed. There you go, pending and completed. It's still doing the pending logic, but we can actually send this over here. Let's actually change this. Let's actually send it like this. A simple one, and let's the other one just send the word completed. Pending. And let's make this to be Boolean. Actually, this should be like that. Yeah, that probably work. And let's do by default, this is actually called completed. And this Boolean. And by default, it should be false. So now that we allow us to do some kind of logic. So here it will say if it's completed, we're going to render completed, or we're going to render pending. Completely control is not should be like that. Let me save this. It should not be just to didn't work because the boolean. Let me check. View trim boolean props. This is a dynamic post. Passing a boolean is published. Oh. but the is published. Okay, there you go. Need to have the camel case over here. And we need to have with the dash over here. Okay, this is how we need to do it. So let's go back to here. Let's call this list is completed. And here let's change this to is completed. And this should be like this. And this should be some kind of logic like if is completed. Oh, because I was getting the completed from here. That's why my props cannot have the same name. There you go. Is completed, is completed. So this should be like that. There you go. So we're calling the completed one and the pending one with this boolean over here. Perfect. So in theory, this text block can change. So let's extrapolate this. So this is the class that is static. And now we need to have a dynamic one that will depend for a JavaScript element. So we'll do something really similar here. If is completed, we're going to send green. If not, I'm going to close it like this. Yes. If not, that this is a tertiary operator in JavaScript, we send the blue one, right? There you go. So we're making that distinction there. And we need to make the distinction right here too. We have the class and we have a dynamic one too. And remember, everything that is dynamic with our props need to be like this. So we need to bind that with is completed. If it's completed, is something. If not, is something else, right? So what need to be there? The text blue is like pending, so it should be here in the second one. What else? The hover blue, the text is always the same. So just the hover one, right? The text blue and the hover. And those two should be red, green in the completed. So when it's true, we send those over here and we send those over here, right? The logic is still going to depending. So if I add something, it's going to show in both. But now we can see that the color is correct in every side, right? So now we need to fix this list. I'm not sure how to do it. Let's see what we can do here. Probably we got something that, like this is completed. We try bring completed. If not, we bring the pending. There you go. Perfect. So that was a tricky one. So what we did, we create a prop that is Boolean. By default is false, right? And we just make some if statements in one line. So we added the text green when it's complete and text blue when it's false. That means that it's pending. If we get the list of completed, if it's complete, or the pending list, and that's why it doesn't have the quotes, the single quotes in there. Change status pretty much the same, that doesn't matter. And the class of the line is just with the text and the hover are the ones that need to change depending on the state. But you can see that we're able to replicate or just do it one time, and we're just able to replicate in our main application. So we bring the list and the list of completed elements, and we make it now 16 lines in the main file. Of course, we're using other stuff, but now we can create that element, and it's working the way that it's supposed to. Pretty cool. So let me click over here. I will put the add to add all my changes. I will type here refactor done, and I will click this little button over here in order to push it. If the first time you will see something like this, I click OK, and that oh, I have an issue there. Doesn't matter. I can actually do it through here too. So git push origin master. There you go. So I am able to push it. That means that I should be able to go to my server now. So I go to my server. In my home directory, I have my Vite to do app. So let me go to that. Oops. And from here, I will do a git pull. This what I'm going to do is take all the changes that I push it to Gcode with the changes, and we saw that my application get a lot of deletions. That means it gets smaller. And we get in the list, the title, and the used to do files imported. Right? And we create new elements and stuff. Whenever we do that, it's always important, just in case, try to run the installation. We run the build. Okay, and you just get build it again. And we should be going to our var w HTML. And I do copy recursively everything that is in home by to do distribution. Everything is going to be copied over here. And that's it. And with that, our website just got redeployed. Sorry, in over here. Pretty neat, right? So I really hope that you like it. What we try to show you here is how to refactor the app in different components, and it's pretty much what we're going to be using for the future. So with this our to-do application is pretty much done. I will put all the links on the description, and I really hope that you like it. Meanwhile, any question or any doubt, don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.